Hello, people of the internet, and welcome to another edition of Kaiju's Corner. I am your host, Andres Perez, aka Kaiju Noir, and here with me is my co-host, back again. This time, it is none other than Deadpoolzilla.
Yes, yes, greet me, bow before me, all the good stuff. You've missed this level of class on your channel, Andreas. I can't imagine how your subscribers have not wanted more of me.
I think I'm quickly starting to regret this idea to bring back Kaiju's Corner. But no, in all seriousness, we have actually got quite a few topics here today. We're actually going to be recording 2 episodes back to back. So the first one that you mentioned is having to do with a particular set of teenagers with attitude, and I think you guys all know what that means.
That is right. We are here to discuss our thoughts on the acquisition of Power Rangers by Hasbro.
Absolutely. So, recently there was a bit of news concerning Hasbro and Power Rangers, or Hasbro and Saban, where Hasbro actually bought or got the rights to do the toys for the latest Power Rangers series, which was at the time recently revealed to be Power Rangers Beast Morphers. We didn't make a video on that because I feel like I already said my piece on the Sons of Serizawa podcast, but we can definitely get into that in this particular episode, in this podcast. But recently, it was later revealed that Hasbro has pretty much outright bought the entirety of the Power Rangers brand, meaning that pretty much after Power Rangers Beast Morphers, Hasbro will at that point take over the entirety of the Power Rangers brand, along with several other properties from Saban, including Big Bad Beetleborgs, Saban's Masked Rider, and VR Troopers, right?
They also took Digimon.
Yeah, what do you call it? Broadcasting, the syndication rights.
Yes, syndication.
Was it the first season or the first couple seasons of Digimon?
I think they took the first few seasons. I think they also, but I don't know where that leaves the Tri movies.
That is interesting. Yeah, that's a good point. But then again, this isn't the first time we've had a large brand be split off into different American distribution companies. Lord knows what the Godzilla series has been through with its numerous DVD and Blu-ray releases. But anyways, so you and I, we're pretty big Power Rangers fans. I feel like we've talked about the franchise a couple times here on the channel. And so back when this first started, when it was announced that Hasbro was going to be doing the toys for Power Rangers instead of Bandai of America, what were your initial thoughts?
It wasn't so much anger as it was surprise, because I knew they got the toy deal a few weeks earlier, and then I guess Hasbro went, nah, we'll take it all.
It's like, oh, we're not stopping there.
Yeah, I think it's cool that they got it, because I feel like Hasbro, despite how bad their movies are, I think toy-wise and as well as television-wise, I think they can stand on their own. Mm-hmm. I also think that they're not as big as Disney or anything, but they're definitely a perfect home for Power Rangers. They just kind of embody what Hasbro has, in terms of just child appeal as well as all ages appeal, for that matter. And the fact that we are getting, VR Troopers and, they got VR Troopers and Big Bad Beetleborgs and Masked Rider, I think it's really cool, and maybe they could do something new with them.
Yeah, it's possible. They could potentially revive those characters. It's like Hasbro has done quite a lot of interesting things with a lot of their brands, especially when it comes to comics. Was the successful IDW continuity with Transformers. There were all the different crossovers and collaborations between Transformers, G.I. Joe. They've done made a name for My Little Pony in the last decade or so, however long that new show has been around. Yeah,
for the near decade. It's nearly been 10 years.
God damn, man.
Yeah.
So, Hasbro has definitely... Go ahead.
I was just going to say, but the big thing here is that Hasbro really knows how to market their stuff. And
Very true.
With the biggest name is Power Rangers, you damn well know they are going to do everything in their power to pimp out that they have Power Rangers. Now, the one thing I was concerned about when this merger went through, and we'll get this out of the way now, is that where does this leave Boom Studios comics? Because let's be honest,
that's pretty much like the one good thing that's been coming out of Power Rangers recently, and that's like the one thing people will be pissed if that ends.
Oh, trust me, because Shattered Grid has sold out I think 5 times in a row. It has outsold Marvel and DC every time. And you don't now Boom Studios has the comic rights exclusively for Power Rangers, but we don't know how long that is. Like, maybe there's some kind of deal there, or hopefully what I'm hoping for is that, they won't give it over to IDW real quick. They'll be more like, you know what, fam, you keep it. You're giving us money. That's what I'm hoping Hasbro will do.
Because it kind of reminds me of what happened when Disney bought Star Wars. They immediately took Star Wars away from Dark Horse and gave it to Marvel, which they already owned.
Yeah.
So
So I don't know. That's going to be a thing to see, because again, I don't want the Power Rangers. That's the one thing that that made me worried for this buyout. Everything else I'm cool with. It's just the comics. And the state of Power Rangers is bad when I care more about the state of a comic book than I do the television show.
So let's talk about that. So ever since Saban reacquired Power Rangers back in 2010, I want to say, I
want to say 2012, but maybe I'm wrong.
Because I think 2010 was when they re-aired the original Power Rangers series, but they added a whole bunch of unnecessary effects to kind of like Adam West's Batman style. And so this was kind of like, I'm not sure what that version is called, but kind of like the renewed version of season 1. And, they put out several toys based on the first season of Power Rangers. This is before the Legacy line. So I think it was 2011, 2012, that was Power Rangers Samurai. So then we got our first glimpse at what they were trying to do. I think since Samurai, along with, Megaforce, Super Megaforce, Dino Charge, Dino Supercharge, and now Ninja Steel, it looks like they were desperately trying to recapture the image of the original Mighty Morphin era of Power Rangers, unaware of the fact that kind of style of storytelling, writing, and television making, in my opinion, just does not work in this day and age. And I think it's television has progressed to the point where even children, I guess, were lost interest in Power Rangers, considering I guess they wouldn't be selling the brand if they didn't notice a decline in ratings and a decline in sales and a decline in interest over the years since Samurai. Because I think Samurai was quite a big hit, only because it was the first the first Power Rangers for a new generation of kids, because there was quite a gap between RPM and Samurai. But ever since that resurgence of Power Rangers for this new generation of fans, and old fans coming back to see the new shows, because Saban's got it again, there was I guess it's been a steady decline since then.
Oh, I can tell you where we hit rock bottom was Super Megaforce.
Oh yeah, Super Megaforce easily considered by many fans to be the worst season, or one of the worst seasons of Power Rangers, simply due to how it tried to further recapture the magic and corniness and goofiness of Mighty Morphin, unaware of the fact that the reason why we liked Mighty Morphin so much was mostly due to nostalgia, and because we see it as charming, because it was their first time attempting something like that nowadays. But with this show, you expect, higher standards have gone so much higher for children's entertainment. Well, I'm not sure about that, considering, stuff like Teen Titans Go being a thing. So.
Oh yeah, and Thundercats Roar soon to be a thing.
Let's just say, things have changed quite a lot since we were kids, If kids like it nowadays, fine. We grew up with our stupid shit. And, like season 1 Power Rangers. So we can let, we'll let you guys, have your stuff. But, anyways, with Power Rangers, it's it just didn't, it was like lightning in the bottle, and they were trying to chase after that same level of success, unaware of what made it such a success in the first place, and not able to learn from their past mistakes. Instead of progressing and improving the formula, they just want to go backwards and there and like I don't know, stay stuck in the past.
Yeah. Now I will admit, out of the best of the Neo Saban is Dino Charge, but even then, like the ending really killed it for me.
Yeah, I've never watched Dino Charge, but I have seen Linkara's History of Power Rangers, and yeah, that is pretty stupid. But anyways, oh yeah, how was the Ninja Steel, the current series right now, or I guess coming soon will be Super Ninja Steel?
Oh, I gave that 2 episodes and went, nope.
Okay, then. So, with Hasbro now acquiring Power Rangers, I get a better feeling that Hasbro knows how to appeal to both newcomers and fans, especially when you look at stuff like the War for Cybertron, Fall of Cybertron games, the IDW comics, the Transformers Prime series, the numerous amounts of different toys available for children and fans, like different levels of difficulty and detail. So they definitely know how to appeal to a very broad audience with Transformers. I can't say all that much for My Little Pony. I guess with My Little Pony, they know how to strike. They've obviously struck a chord with both children and adults, alike with the Friendship is Magic series. G.I. Joe, they pretty much like ignore G.I. Joe outright. But I get a feeling.
But they keep messing up on that. What they need to do is bring back goddamn Inhumanoids.
That'd be fun. I know there's one individual who keeps asking me to review Inhumanoids, like in like every single video on my channel. Like, when are you gonna review Inhumanoids? It's like, yeah, I don't know. I don't even know where to find the show. But anyways.
It's not fine, but if you do, it's a real treat.
Oh, I bet. But with Power Rangers, I get a feeling that they'll know how to advertise the show and how to make a really good, well-written show. But then again, recently we had, Transformers Robots in Disguise, which I heard was pretty mediocre. And there was also the Machinima series, which I hear wasn't very good. It's like, what's it called? It's like a really bastardized adaptation of the IDW Prime Wars trilogy, where first it was Combiner Wars, then Titans Return, and now Power of the Primes. Yeah,
it's not been great. Like, the only thing it's been going for is the
voice cast.
Is the stuff the voice cast.
Right.
That's really.
Because the idea of like Ron Perlman voicing Optimus Primal sounds really cool. I have no idea why Optimus Primal is there, but then again, I haven't read the comics. But I want to, though.
It's funny enough, Jason David Frank, the green/white/red/red/black Ranger, he voices one of the characters in that series.
That is interesting. I did hear that they try to get as many popular names as they could, even if like some of them were like YouTubers and not like professional actors or voice actors. Yeah, it looks like Hasbro's kind of faltered a bit recently. Like, obviously the movies are hot garbage. The Prime trilogy on Machinima wasn't all that good. Robots in Disguise, I heard, was very mediocre. There's the news. I think the next Transformers show is called Transformers Cyberverse. So I don't know how that's going to pan out. But in the past, they were able to successfully make decent shows for, particular demographics like Rescue Bots, Prime, the Aligned Continuity, and, the comics. So I'm just hoping they provide that level of care and detail and attention to Power Rangers.
Well, the comics, funny, I know, going back to the Transformers comics, that shared universe is actually coming to an end soon. They're going to reboot the comics soon after this whole Unicron story, which they're building up. Yeah, which they're building up as their big Infinity War thing.
Right. So, did the IDW Transformers comics, did they ever go to Earth? Because everything I see of them seems to all take place on Cybertron.
Well, a lot of it does take on Cybertron now, but it started on Earth, and they go back to Earth occasionally.
Okay.
And some of those better stuff is on Earth because it really deals with Megatron as an Autobot now.
And that is very interesting. I keep hearing about that.
Yeah, it's been really, like, that stuff has been, like, really cool of dealing with this dude is pretty much was a tyrant warlord who caused a million-year civil war, and now he's trying to be good, but he realizes I'm not good at it. and we have Starscream, who is like the king of Cybertron. Just a lot of cool stuff. Like you've got like you've got the Maximals and Predacons living among them. Just it's a lot of continuity. I could see why they want to reboot it now because there's like just so much you got to read through if you want to get in.
If you know like the basic G1 setup, you're gonna go in totally lost, I bet.
Oh, trust me, you are.
Okay then, and so when it comes to Power Rangers in terms of television production, we know that Saban is actually going to be making Beast Morphers with Hasbro taking over the toys. And then I can only assume that after Beast Morphers, then Saban is going to give the keys over to Hasbro full time. So yeah.
Now, the big question here is: are they going to adapt like a more Sentai, or are they going to go, nah, fam, we're going to try something different? Like, there's a good possibility we could get a Power Rangers animated show from Hasbro.
That'd be interesting because that's what was the thing I wanted to bring up, in that it was, how is Hasbro going to handle the production side of things? Because, correct me if I'm wrong, but has Hasbro ever done a live action series before? I mean, there was the Aquabats, but I think they did not make that show, really.
No, that wasn't really. They just syndicated it. They've never really done. Well, they've done a few live action shows, but I just can't remember.
Oh, they did that.
What they are?
That Hasbro game show.
Oh yeah, they did that, but they've never really like fully dipped their toes into live action.
Right. It's all, for the most part, been animation.
Yeah.
So it would be interesting if they did sort of like that. Do you remember that, we talked about this before, Power Rangers Origin, which was this rejected pitch for a Power Rangers animated series or animated movie based on the Mighty Morphin era?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it'd be interesting. Even like the animation style was almost reminiscent of Transformers Prime.
Yeah, a little bit, but it was a little more cleaner.
Right. So it's... Go ahead.
I was just going to say, would you be down for an animated Power Rangers show over a live action?
I probably think so. Like, if Hasbro is unable to provide a very good-looking show series, I would be very interested in seeing that, especially looking at the comics and how the comics was able to do so much more, I guess, visual-wise, without the restriction of stock footage and a tight budget. But I know people may get upset because the whole appeal of tokusatsu is that it's live action. You know, people love to see the costumes, the rubber suits, the robots, the transformation. And I get that. You know, that's why a big, huge part of why I got into Power Rangers. But I feel like I personally would still enjoy Power Rangers even on a animated level, in an animated format.
Right. Yeah.
But I feel like the possibilities are endless with an animated format, unless you decide to be like the Godzilla anime trilogy and have all the potential wasted by having characters just walk around doing nothing and then saving all the action till the very end.
Yeah. Oh no, we're not bitter about that. No siree.
Nah.
Yeah, but
crazy.
Now let me ask you this. What do you think of the possibility of them bringing back since they have the license to the other stuff? Could you see like a revival of VR Troopers or Big Bad Beetleborgs or Masked Rider? You know,
maybe in terms of the comics, maybe because kind of similar to what IDW does, where they have like Transformers Transformers meeting up and teaming up with like the likes of G.I. Joe or Rom the Space Knight or
even the Visionaries, which no one asked for.
I don't even know what those are.
Good on you.
So I think like Hasbro is very open to have their brands interact with other brands, even if they're characters that they don't even
interaction. Not even as an interaction, Andreas. I meant like a revival of like on a show, like animated or otherwise.
Well, that's the thing. I have a feeling that maybe they might not be willing to bring back VR Troopers, Beetleborgs, or Masked Rider. in terms of reviving them in their own standalone media, I have a feeling that if anything, they're going to try to add these characters into the Power Rangers brand, similar to what Toho did, where having Godzilla be the main central focus and then taking all these other monsters from different movies and having them absorbed into the Godzilla franchise.
Right. I could see that. I mean, although if you were to ask me like which of those outside of Rangers could work for best for Hasbro, it would be Beetleborgs.
Yeah, Beetleborgs was pretty much like the only show that ever had any real sort of success compared to the other tokusatsu adaptations.
Yeah.
Now, if only they were able to get the rights to Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad. I don't know who owns the series right now, but they really need to get on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tattooed teenage alien fighters from Beverly Hills, you can let that one stay in obscurity.
Yeah, that one can stay dead in the fire.
Right.
No, I think like if any
dumpster fire.
Funny. But no, I think like some of these do have potential to come back, which is something I don't think Saban really. I understand. Yeah, the thing with Beetleborgs, but the others like VR and Masked Rider, there is potential to bring that stuff back and make cool and make some new and interesting ideas for those series. Mm-hmm. Like I think there's definitely a lot of potential to really bring that out and really do the stuff like bring out some cool nostalgia and do something cool with it, like Saban was trying to do with Power Rangers, but maybe Hasbro can improve upon it, because they actually like the thing about Hasbro that I've noticed more than Saban is that they actually keep in touch with their fan base.
And that's true.
Like they actually understand the fan base evolves, so we have to evolve with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the fan base gets bigger. Different fans grow up with different eras of Power Rangers, and each Power Ranger season is or should be different from the last one. So you've got quite a large variety of different markets to profit off of.
Exactly.
And I know Saban tried their best with that, like especially when you look at stuff like the Legacy toys, like the Legacy Megazords, the Legacy Morphers, some of the figures based on older characters, but I never feel like they really went all the way. Their heads were still stuck in the past by, especially like with their collaborations with Bandai of America. Even on the toy side, their toys never really evolved in terms of their like toy engineering. And that's another thing I wanted to get into, which is how Hasbro is going to approach the toys, especially starting with Power Rangers Beast Morphers. Now, I think I've talked to you about this in private before, but one of my biggest pet peeves with Power Rangers merchandise ever since I was a little child was the lack of articulation with the Megazords. Now, back in the day, it would have been, crazy to expect the Megazord to do all the things that, like, say, Beast Wars toys could do, with elbows, knees, articulation, posability. But nowadays, like 20 years later, the toys, from what I've seen, especially from my own personal collection of Legacy figure Megazords, the toys have barely evolved since then. We still just have arm moves up, arm moves down. Maybe they try to give us a bone. They throw us a bone by giving, like, the Tiger Zord some elbows. Maybe they'll give some wiggle room for the legs to have a more natural standing position, adding some space between the legs. But that's really it. It's like they don't give any articulation to these Megazords. And I get that stuff like, Soul of Chogokin has shown us that if you give us like a posable Megazord that also transforms, it's going to be fucking expensive, like what, $300 or something. But I really like the Hasbro approach to transforming, combining, and posable robots, and that is with the Combiner War series, and even with Power of the Primes recently, where you sell each Zord or each component separately. You collect all 5 or 6 pieces, then combine them, and there you go. You get your combining robot at like, what, $15, $20 a pop. So I feel like
exactly.
that's the model they need to go with, instead of trying to make each toy really cheap and then selling it all together in one collection.
Yeah, I think that would be the best option. And Hasbro also has some really kick-ass like props they have. Like, of course, their lightsabers.
Oh, Hasbro makes the Star Wars toys.
Yeah, well, yeah, they have the license to the Star Wars toys. They're the ones who do like the Kylo Ren lightsaber.
Okay.
They also are the ones who created the new Infinity Gauntlet.
Oh, I see then.
Yeah, which I put on, by the way.
Nice. I bet you're wearing it right now, huh?
No, it was at a comic book shop and I wore it and I flipped everyone off with it.
You should make that your profile picture.
I have that a friend of mine has that picture and I need to make that my profile picture. I don't want my family to go, why does he have his finger up wearing a weird glove with jewels on it?
I didn't know he was into jewelry.
Why is that glove so big? Because that's the thing, like the glove is so freaking big.
I thought so. You don't even put your fingers in the individual fingers. I bet you you put your fingers in some little like keyholes that you have to pull to move the fingers.
Yep. Yep.
Yep. Let's see. But where else was I going with this? Oh yeah, with
it's like going back to. Oh, sorry. I was just gonna say, like, going back to what I mean is that. What I mean is that we could get some cool like prop stuff. Like we could get some really cool like a new version of Saba and the Dragon Dagger,
right?
The Gold Ranger staff. There's a lot of cool stuff in Power Rangers. Like even like I could go for like some really high end morphers.
Yeah, I will give them that. I really like the Legacy weapons a lot. I feel like that's where the die-cast metal really fits in. It's just like the Megazords has always been one of my problems, where it's like they put so much money. They make these Megazords so expensive because they have a lot of die-cast in them, but nothing else really, other than more show accurate proportions. But yeah, the props, I really like what Saban or Bandai of America was doing with the Legacy stuff, and I feel like they can push that even further with Hasbro's props.
Oh, most definitely. Like these are like the stuff they do with like Kylo Ren's lightsaber and the gauntlet. Yeah. Oh, it's worth every freaking penny.
Oh, another thing I need to mention is like toys based on the Power Rangers themselves, and especially the villains. Like, first off, I really want more monster toys. I don't think we've ever really had a lot of monster toys after like the Mighty Morphin era. And as
well, the only thing we gotta have monster toys is like major henchmen and like the little pawns. That's about it.
Right. The grunts, major henchmen, and the main villain. That's it. Like essentially you have Lord Zed, maybe Squat and Babu, and then the Putties.
Or Goldar.
And Goldar, of course, Goldar. And but then as for the Rangers themselves, this is something that TJ Omega did mention. He's like mostly a Transformers YouTuber, toy reviewer. But one thing I really wish to see is to see like the disappearance or like the eradication of the strange like buff aesthetic that Saban and Bandai has been applying to all their Power Rangers merchandise. Like in all the toys and especially even the Halloween costumes, the Power Rangers are depicted with these large rippling biceps and six packs and large pecs, which is totally really against the whole idea of the slim martial artist physique as opposed to like this roided out Schwarzenegger style Rangers.
Yeah, it's not like it feels like it was all created by Rob Liefeld. That guy who really does not know how to draw a book.
And like, if you look at what was it called? I think it was the SH Figure Arts. They're the ones that make these really nice, Super Sentai figures. And they've even made some like exclusive Power Ranger figures only to fans of Power Rangers. For instance, the, Black Ranger with the Gold Ranger, shield. That is something that only ever appeared in Power Rangers, and yet SH Figure Arts went out of their way to make that figure. And, all those figures, look absolutely perfect, and I wish we were to get that kind of level of quality for American toys. And especially if you want to make like posable Megazords, maybe not have them transform, but just have them like pose and be more articulate. Stuff like the Chogokin Megazord, the original version, not the combining version, that one would work beautifully.
Yeah.
But let's see. I'm not sure, is there anything else to go over then?
I think we've really covered everything at the moment. Like, so I guess my thing, Andreas, is that aside from the comics, I'm really at peace with this. Like, anyone was to take it, I'm glad it's Hasbro.
Yeah, I feel like Saban, they really did not want to. I'm sure they had very good intentions, but they really dropped the ball here. And I know, we're just a bunch of 20-something-year-old adults who are complaining about the quality of a children's franchise. But at the end of the day, Saban clearly wanted to appeal to us as much as the original fans. And looking at how the shows and the merchandise has performed, especially, I gotta mention how much that failed movie of theirs hurt them in the long run. I get the feeling that they haven't been doing their job as well, or they haven't been doing as well as they hoped they would. So if getting better quality merchandise and media means having to sell their stuff to a proven brand, I'm all for it, personally. And it really sucks because, Saban, they were the original owners of Power Rangers. They were the creators of Power Rangers. And, it was very nice to hear that they were going to get their brand back from Disney. And we were all excited as to how they were going to approach things from here on out. But it turns out, I think they were better off staying with Disney. But even then, Disney themselves did not want it because at that point, it was also a dying brand at that point. So it's kind of interesting how Power Rangers' popularity keeps like fluctuating up and down to the point where it had to move across multiple companies, which I don't think I've really seen happen all that much for a brand as big as Power Rangers.
Yeah, it's but like I haven't seen that with any other show. Like.
Yeah, like you have to buy the entire company like Disney does in order to acquire stuff like Power Rangers.
Exactly. So, and Hasbro knows knows their audience. So, and like I said, I think there's a lot of wiggle room for them to really play with the other franchises because they wouldn't have taken those if they weren't planning on if they had an idea for it.
Yeah. Although, it's funny. Go ahead.
It wasn't like with Disney who just took Power Rangers. They took all of it. Like, they took all of it in this buyout. So that tells me that they have, like, something in mind.
Yeah. Which makes me wonder, what is Saban going to do from here on out without their cash cow?
Well, it looks like they're just making movies now. Like, that new movie with Jim Carrey? That's them.
Wait, really? Like, which Jim Carrey movie?
It's the one where he's investigating this author who's killing people.
Really now? Okay. Oh, I'm looking at it right here. It's called True Crimes?
Yeah.
Huh. Well, I hope that works out for them.
Good. Well, like the words of SpongeBob.
Well, good luck with that. Yep. So, there goes our thoughts, our hopes, and for whatever plans Hasbro may have with Power Rangers. Ooh, there is one thing I need to mention before we leave. And that was the irony of when it comes to Beast Morphers, because I'm sure people have already talked about this, but for those who may not know, Bandai of America actually collaborated with Bandai of Japan and Toei in order to create the designs for the Megazords and costumes, I think, for the latest Sentai at the last year, which was Uchu Sentai Q Ranger. And the whole thing was, this was the very first time that Bandai of America, like the Power Rangers people, ever collaborated with the Sentai people. And I guess the Power Rangers people, or Bandai of America, was collaborating and designing these Zords in the hopes of bringing these toys eventually to America as Power Ranger toys. And so we ended up with this Megazord. I'm still going to call it a Megazord, even if it's a Sentai mech, made out of these like orbs. And so you connect more orbs and alternate orbs to make new, bigger robots or different combinations. And so it's really ironic that for the next year of Power Rangers, they're not going to do any of that, and they're going to abandon all of Bandai of America's work now that Hasbro is going to take over.
Yeah.
And they're not going to adapt Q Ranger for next year. So, yeah, all that work they put into in the hopes of selling those toys in America was for nothing.
Exactly.
I just wanted to bring up that irony. So anyways, those have been our thoughts on the recent acquisition and the recent collaboration between Hasbro and Saban. We'll just have to wait and see, as always. So where can people find you, Deadpoolzilla?
You can find me on my channel, sometimes on Geekvolution, though not much. And you guys can check out my new channel called Comic Universe, which I'm hoping Andreas is a bro and put the link in the description.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you guys can subscribe there. I talk about all things geeky there, and you can see my handsome mug. Yay. I use those with air quotes.
For those of you who ever want to see what Deadpoolzilla looks like in real life.
Yeah, don't get your hopes up.
I would say you kind of look like a younger, slimmer Seth Rogen. And I mean that as a good thing.
I get that so fucking much. I hate it.
All you gotta do is do the Seth Rogen laugh. You gotta talk about weed at some point. So yeah, anything else, man? What other recent videos would you like to promote?
Nothing big at the moment, but you guys should check out our channel. Check out Comic Universe. Just a mix of content. You guys should also would probably enjoy our latest segment called Rogues Revamp, where my friend C-Dubs and I talk about villains from other mediums being a villain for a certain hero. Our latest one, as of this recording, was Doctor Strange.
Nice. All right then. Thank you very much, man. And I'm sure a lot of our fans would enjoy your new content on your new channel. Everybody, please support these guys. It's a very fast-growing channel. Already at over 500 subscribers, I believe.
Yeah, over 500.
Excellent. And also, in the meantime, you can check out further reviews and podcasts on my channel. I recently reviewed Godzilla City on the Edge of Battle, if you want to hear my first impressions on that movie. Look forward to more episodes and reviews, more episodes of Kaiju's Corner, as well as new uploads of new reviews, both scripted and podcast style. You can also follow the Primal Warrior Draco Azul Facebook page, which is dedicated to my upcoming comic book, which will hopefully, if everything goes well, be making its debut at G-Fest in the Artist Alley. And also, you can check out the Kaiju vs. Cancer Facebook page to get the latest insight on our ongoing charity project, which Deadpoolzilla and I are a part of, as we have both of our mascots, Draco Azul and DPZ, the Dino of Pure Zaniness. And actually, one of not our next shirt, but I think the following t-shirt will feature Deadpoolzilla's character.
Yes, I'm looking forward to it.
So look forward to all of that and more in the near future. So I have been Andres Perez, aka Kaiju Noir.
And I am Deadpoolzilla.
And until next time, everybody, take care, and may the power protect you.